My wife announced she was leaving me right after our daughter's graduation ceremony, in front of everyone, family, friends, her lover, smiling in the back. But instead of begging or exploding, I handed her an envelope, one she wasn't expecting. When she opened it, her face drained of color. I didn't just lose a wife that day, I detonated her exit plan. Name's Cal Morgan, 47. I've been a financial strategist in Raleigh for over 20 years, built a boutique firm from scratch, advised hundreds of families on their futures. But somehow, I forgot to plan for my own wife stabbing me in the back with a smile. It started on a rainy Thursday in May. Lindsay, my wife of 22 years, stood in the kitchen, coffee mug in hand. Like she was about to ask what I wanted for dinner. Instead, she said, "Tyler's coming to graduation with us." I blinked. "Tyler, your trainer. He's a good friend to our family." Her voice was flat, almost bored. Not even a glance in my direction. That word family sounded like a punch to the ribs, because something in it was already gone. Lindsay had been different for months. Gym 5 days a week. New clothes I didn't recognize. Errands that somehow lasted 3 hours. I'd asked, she'd lied. I didn't fight her on it. Not then. I walked out, sat in my truck, and opened our bank app. Nothing major. A few new restaurants. Spa charges. Purchases she claimed were on sale. But I knew the signs. This wasn't midlife boredom. This was war prep. Isabel, our daughter, was graduating in 3 weeks. Business degree, honors. First person in either of our families to get a college diploma. She worked her butt off for it. I wasn't going to let Lindsay turn her day into some grotesque soap opera. But I needed to know. Not guess. Not assume. No, I remembered the prenuptial agreement we'd signed years ago. Lindsay's idea, actually. She'd said it was for liability protection if my business ever got sued. It included a clause about infidelity, ironclad. That night, while she was upstairs giggling on the phone, sounding softer than she had with me in years, I was in my home office, reading that agreement like it was the Constitution. Then I started making phone calls. The photo came 3 days later. An anonymous number, shot from across the hotel bar. Lindsay, Tyler, sitting side by side, his hand on her thigh, her head on his shoulder. Caption: "You should know, hotel security has more if you need it." I called the number. "Kevin Walsh," the voice said. "Marriott Security. She's been coming here for 4 months. Same guy, same room. Twice a week." "Why tell me?" My brother went through the same thing. Irked him. Wish someone had warned him sooner. I didn't get mad. Not yet. I felt relief. Like a suffocating pressure finally released. Next morning, I made calls. Attorney, CPA, old pie friend. I had 17 days to turn this betrayal into a surgical strike. 2 weeks out, I tested the water. Lindsay was sipping her morning latte, humming. Happy, lighter, dangerous. "I've been thinking," I said casually, "maybe Tyler should sit with his own family at graduation. Wouldn't want things to get awkward." Her eyes snapped to mine. Cold, calculating. He is family. Supportive how? Wrong question. Her mud thudded onto the table. "You don't notice anything anymore, Cal. You're always working, always fixing other people's lives. You don't see me. And Tyler does. He makes me feel like I matter." There it was. The rewrite. The new script. She was the victim. He was the savior. I was the villain. That night she left for girl talk with Jana. I knew Jana was in Michigan for her son's wedding. I didn't say anything. Just made another call to Kevin Walsh. "I need everything. Records, footage, names, dates. Make it clean. Make it legal." He didn't hesitate. "Give me a week." Next day, I met with my attorney, James. We'd been friends for 15 years. He looked over the prenup and nodded slowly. "If we can prove infidelity, she forfeits the business, the investments, even alimony. And if I move assets, depends how and when. Asset hiding is illegal. Asset protection is smart." We spent 2 hours planning. By then, I had a checklist and a deadline. Everything had to be secured before Lindsay pulled the trigger. That night, I called Isabella. Excited for graduation. So excited, Dad. "But, you and Mom, will you be okay? This is your day." "Sweetheart," I said. "Nothing will ruin that." I meant it. Even if it meant burning everything else to the ground. Asterisk. By Monday, I was executing the plan like a military operation. First move, I called Robert, my longtime accountant. "I want to establish an irrevocable trust," I said, education focused, for Isabella. There was a pause. "That's a big move, Cal." "Why now?" "Estate planning. She's starting her adult life. I want things in place." "Not a lie. Not entirely." We met the next morning. By then, Robert had drafted it all, an educational trust with Isabella as the sole beneficiary. I'd be trustee until she turned 30, but the assets would legally be hers, not mine, Not marital property, no claimable value in a divorce. By noon, I'd signed over 60% of our investment portfolio. By 3 p.m., I'd added to rental properties and my half of the house. On paper, I just gifted my daughter $3.20 million. In reality, I just made sure Lindsay would walk away with almost nothing. That night, she floated through the door like a woman. High on delusion. The graduation surprise is coming together, she beamed. Tyler's been amazing. I'm sure he has. She tilted her head. You seem different lately. Relax. I smiled, just excited. It's going to be a perfect day. She had no idea how perfect. The next few days blurred into logistics, phone calls, and legal filings. I wasn't hiding assets. I was protecting my legacy. Legally, strategically, ruthlessly. Friday morning, I received a brown envelope from Kevin. Walls, inside 6 months of hotel records, room numbers, dates, security footage, timestamps, all tied to Lindsay's Marriott visits twice a week, always with Tyler. Saturday, I found more. Hidden in her jewelry box, beneath earrings she hadn't worn in years, was a folder. Inside, printouts of Charleston condos and Asheville apartments, had circles around listings. A sticky note in Lindsay's handwriting, residency by June. Filing in July. June was 2 weeks away. She wasn't just cheating. She was planning a clean exit. A public exit. Graduation wasn't just a milestone for Isabella. It was a stage. And I was the clown who was supposed to smile through it. Not happening. By the following Wednesday, I had the final pieces. I met with Helen Torres, a top-tier private investigator I'd hired on retainer, former FBI, now running a discreet agency out of Durham. She'd been working behind the scenes for days. She handed me a thick, indexed binder. Everything from the last 6 months, she said. Photos, witness statements, restaurant bills. Even a mountain cabin rental your wife claimed she spent with her sister who lives in Arizona. Perfect, I muttered. They've been very public. Careful, but not invisible. I nodded. I need all of it admissible. It is. She tapped the back section. One more thing. Credit card statements. Tyler paid for everything. Hotels, dinners, gym trips, even a couple's massage. If she ever tries to play the victim, this kills that script. I drove home in silence. Isabella called that evening. Dad, are you okay? I'm good. You ready for the big day? Almost. But you and Mom still feel weird. Just promise me you'll both be there. I don't want any drama. I promise, sweetheart, you'll get your day. I meant it with every cell in my body. Because that day, that graduation, it wasn't just her moment. It was my reckoning. Thursday, I laid everything out on the desk in my home office. Hotel receipts, surveillance photos, witness statements, prenup clause highlighted in yellow, asset transfer records all bound together, tight as a courtroom punch. Then I slid it all into a thick manila envelope, labeled, for Lindsay. She was still at the gym with Tyler when I sealed it. Friday morning, she practically floated into the kitchen. Tomorrow's the big day, she said, beaming. I can't wait for you to see the surprise. Should I be nervous? She laughed. Actually laughed. No, Cal, you might be shocked, but I think you'll be relieved. We've both been pretending. After tomorrow, we won't have to anymore. She kissed my cheek. First time in months. Then she left to finalize the surprise with Tyler. I stood at the window, watching her drive off in the car I bought. Then I turned, looked around the house, 20 years of memories, and said goodbye to the man I used to be. Tomorrow, I wasn't the fool anymore. Tomorrow, I was the storm. Asterisk. Graduation morning broke like any other. Sunny, loud birds, coffee brewing, but my heart dead calm. I watched Lindsay swirl around the house like it was Christmas. Makeup perfect, dress sharp. Every word rehearsed. She thought she was about to rewrite our family story, but I was already editing the final chapter. Isabella rode with her mom. She said it felt right. Mom helped me with everything. I didn't push. I just drove alone, suit on. Envelope in my jacket. The university gymnasium was packed. Cheering families, flashing cameras, pride so thick you could taste it. Front row seating, reserved for parents of honors graduates. Lindsay beamed like a Hollywood extra. Tyler, 3 seats away. Hair gelled, cheap cologne. Trying to look respectful while inching toward her like a dog off leash. I ignored them both, because when Isabella walked across that stage, my whole world lit up. Cap, gown, tassel flip. That smile, that moment, was real. After the ceremony, we all moved to the campus lawn for photos. Isabella looked radiant, holding her diploma, laughing with cousins. Grandparents hugged, balloons bounced. Everyone posed for pictures. Then Lindsay clapped her hands together. Before we head to dinner, I have something to say. I saw it coming. Her whole body was vibrating with anticipation. The crowd quieted. Even Isabella froze. Lindsay turned toward me, her voice sweet, loud, practiced. "Kel, I'm done living with you." It hit like a slap. Audible gasps. "Grandma." Stop mid-sip of lemonade. "I found someone who makes me happy," she continued, turning to gesture at Tyler. He stepped forward like he'd won a trophy. "Tyler and I are together," she said. "We're starting a new chapter." I wanted to be honest. Today felt like the right time. The right time. She picked our daughter's graduation as her spotlight. Isabella's face crumbled. "Mom, what are you doing, sweetie? This doesn't change anything." "Yes, it does," she snapped, tears rising. "This changes everything." Lindsay flinched. Tyler grabbed her elbow like he thought he was helping, but the whole family stared silent, stunned, waiting for me to blow. But I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I smiled. "Thanks for being real," I said calmly, and pulled the envelope from my jacket. She blinked. "What's that?" "Since we're not pretending anymore, here's something for you." She hesitated, then took it, maybe still thinking it was a desperate plea, or divorce papers, or even some apology. She opened it. The first page, hotel receipts. The second, surveillance photos. The third, a highlighted clause from our postnuptial agreement: infidelity equals forfeiture. Then, asset transfer documents, trust filings, legal records. Her eyes darted faster and faster. Isabella moved beside her. "What is this?" Lindsay's hand trembled. "It's documentation," I said. 6 months of proof. Your mom's hotel visits, her lover's payments, her exit plans. And here I pointed, the trust. "Everything I owned now belongs to you." Lindsay's lips parted. "You can't do this." I tilted my head. "Already did." Tyler stepped forward, sweating. "What does this mean?" I finally looked him in the eye. "It means the woman you just publicly claimed just lost access to $3.2 million. Lindsay's knees buckled. Isabella stepped back like she'd been burned. "You planned this during my graduation." "No, sweetie," I said softly. "She did. I just finished it." The envelope slipped from Lindsay's hands, papers scattering across the grass. Guests scoffed, unsure whether to run or film it. Someone did film it. Someone always does. We left without a word. No dinner, no speeches, no family toasts. I gave Isabella the keys to my car and told her to meet me at her favorite restaurant later, just her and me. She nodded, still stunned. Lindsay didn't speak as she got into Tyler's truck, but I saw her face: shock, anger, realization. For once, I wasn't the blind husband anymore. I was the man who'd watched the knife being sharpened and handed her a mirror instead. Asterisk. The video hit Facebook that night. Someone's uncle had filmed the entire scene: Lindsay's speech, Tyler's smirk, my envelope, her meltdown. By morning, it was everywhere. Mom hijacks daughter's graduation, backfires hilariously. Over 800,000 views by noon. Lindsay called me twice. I didn't answer. Then came the texts: "Lindsay, you humiliated me." "Lindsay, in front of my family, our daughter." "Lindsay, you think this is over?" I muted her number. That afternoon, Isabella and I sat in a quiet booth at Lyle's Diner, her favorite since she was 12. She picked at her fries. "Mom hasn't called me yet." "She will," I said. "You really gave me everything." I nodded. "Every dollar I could protect. The rest, she'll try to fight for. But the trust is airtight." She stared at me. "I don't know if I should be proud of you or afraid of you." I laughed for the first time in weeks. "Why not both?" She cracked a smile. "You planned all of it." She gave me no choice. There was a long pause. She said Tyler made her feel seen, like she mattered. "She mattered to me too," I said. "But sometimes, people rewrite the past to justify what they're doing in the present." "Will you be okay?" "I already am." By Monday, the legal fallout hit. Lindsay retained 3 different attorneys. One dropped her after 2 days. The second called me directly. "This postnup is ironclad. Did she really sign this with independent counsel?" "She did." "She doesn't have a case. Your documentation isn't thorough. Tell her to enjoy the house and her car. That's all she's getting." The third lawyer filed a motion. Anyway, it was rejected in 72 hours. Judge cited the prenup, the legal structure of the trust, and the voluntary infidelity clause she'd walked in to face first. The look on her face during the Zoom hearing: devastated, silent, like the ground had dropped out. It had. Tyler gone, disappeared 2 days after her first court loss. He'd blocked her on everything, changed gyms, deleted his socials. Apparently, new life partners are less appealing when they come with lawsuits and a mortgage they can't afford. Lindsay sent Isabella a single text: "Mom, I never wanted this to happen like that. I just wanted to be happy." Isabella didn't respond. She forwarded the message to me and added one word: Howard. Weeks passed. I moved into a small craftsman house across town. Clean, quiet, minimalist. Mine. My firm stayed strong. Clients were loyal. A few had even seen the video and quietly congratulated me. You handled it with class, one said. Wish I'd done the same when my ex left. I appreciated the sentiment, but the truth, it hadn't felt like class. It felt like survival. Late July, I took Isabella to Charleston for a father-daughter weekend. We walked the same boardwalk Lindsay had circled rental listings for. She asked if I missed the life we had. No, I said. I missed the version of it I thought was real. There was a difference. A big one. We sat on the pier, watching boats pass, the sun dropping below the waterline. I keep thinking about graduation, she said. That moment's yours, not hers. She looked at me. You gave me everything. But do you feel empty? I thought about it. Then shook my head. No. I feel clean. August rolled in. Lindsay moved out of the house. Alone. She listed it 2 weeks later. The realtor's photos were bright, but empty. No sign of the life we'd built. No photos, no flowers, just silence in wide rooms. She moved into a studio apartment. No Tyler, no friends. Just her pension, her guilt, and a long summer to think. Didn't chase her, didn't answer the final message she sent. Lindsay, I thought I was choosing happiness. Turns out I chose an ending. She wasn't wrong. Asterisk. 3 months later, the house sold. Below asking. Lindsay got her cut, barely enough to buy a condo in Charleston. She tried to call me the day it closed. I let it ring. Then blocked the number for good. That was the last time she reached out. No apology, no explanation, not even a real goodbye. And maybe that was for the best. My life became smaller, but not emptier. My new house didn't echo. It breathed. Simple kitchen, 1 bedroom, hardwood floors, and quiet mornings. I started cooking again, sleeping through the night. Even joined a community running group. No gym drama, no secrets, just pavement and forward motion. Every Tuesday, I had lunch with Isabella. Every Sunday, we FaceTimed while she worked through her grad school applications. I don't want to take the trust money for tuition, she said once. I can get scholarships. I want you to use it, I told her. That trust wasn't just about shielding assets. It was about investing in someone who won't waste them. She teared up. Thanks for believing in me, even when Mom didn't believe in us. One night in early fall, we sat on my porch with hot cider, watching leaves blow across the street. She looked older somehow, not worn down, just stronger. Do you think Mom regrets it? She asked. I didn't answer immediately. I think she regrets getting caught. Silence. But real regret, I said. It requires change, accountability. I don't think she's there yet. Do you still love her? That one hit harder than I expected. I stared into my mug. I love the version of her that existed before Tyler, before the lies. That version died a long time ago. She nodded slowly. I think I still love her, but I don't trust her, and I don't miss her. That's fair. By November, I'd finished restructuring my firm, downsize, focused only on clients I cared about, the ones who treated their spouses with respect, the ones who brought their kids to planning meetings and asked questions about college. I knew now what mattered. Not just money. Legacy. Integrity. Truth. A letter came in December. No return address, but I knew the handwriting. Lindsay. Inside was a card. No words. Just a photo of her at the beach, alone, a shadow across the sand. The back read. I thought I had time. I didn't. Tell Isabella I'm proud of her. I tossed it in the fireplace. Some things don't need closure. They just need to burn. Christmas came, quiet, peaceful. Isabella and I made peppermint pancakes and watched movies. Halfway through, she turned and said, I think this is the first Christmas I've actually felt calm. Same. She hesitated. Do you think you'll ever fall in love again? I looked at her. I think love is possible. But trust, that'll take time. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Well, whoever she is, she better know how lucky she'll be. New Year's Eve, midnight. No champagne, no crowds, just me. On the porch, staring at the stars. I used to hate silence. Now, I crave it. I thought about all the years I'd spent walking on eggshells. Guessing, hoping, pretending. Now, I don't pretend. I see. I listened. And when the ball dropped on that final second, I whispered one thing into the cold night air. Thank you for ending. Asterisk. Spring arrived fast. 1 year after the explosion at Isabella's graduation, the pieces had long settled. The media had moved on. The whispers died down. The Facebook video hit 2.4 million views before getting buried under the next scandal. But Lindsay's name still surfaced in court dockets. She was suing her second personal trainer for fraud. Apparently, after Tyler disappeared, she rebounded with someone new, someone slick, someone younger. She invested half of her remaining savings in his wellness startup. He took the money and vanished, When I heard, I didn't laugh. I didn't even smirk. I just closed the news tab and made myself coffee. Isabella was thriving. She'd gotten into Duke's graduate program full ride. She used the trust for housing and books, bought herself a used Subaru, took weekend trips with friends, started dating a law student named Kyle. Nice kid, respectful, asked me for permission before taking her out for dinner the first time. She told me he made her feel safe. That alone made me like him. Then, in June, I got a call from Charleston General Hospital. Are you the emergency contact for Lindsay Morgan? I hadn't heard that name spoken out loud in nearly a year. I sat up straighter. Used to be. What happened? She was admitted last night. Panic attack, dehydration, no ID. Just a card in her wallet with your number written in pen. I hesitated. Is she okay? She's stable. But she asked to see you. I didn't answer right away. Sir, I'll be there in 4 hours. When I walked into that sterile white room, I almost didn't recognize her. She looked small hair, unkempt, eyes hollow, wrists bruised from the fall. She turned when she heard the door creak. For a second, she didn't speak. Then you came. I'm not here to save you, I said calmly. I just want answers. Her lips trembled. I thought I'd build a better life. I thought Tyler, the gym, everything, was freedom. It was an escape, not a future. She swallowed. Everyone hates me now, even Isabella. She doesn't hate you, but she doesn't trust you. That's harder to fix. She nodded slowly. I thought you'd scream at me, or walk out. I already did all that. Quietly, tears welled up in her eyes. You were always the calm one. I just didn't see it. I leaned in. No, you saw it. You just thought calm meant weak. Silence. Then, her voice barely a whisper of I'm sorry. I believed her. But I didn't care. I stood. I hope you find peace, but I won't be part of your search for it. She looked up desperate. Will you tell Isabella? I'll tell her you're alive. Nothing more. Then I turned, walked out, and never looked back. 2 months later, Isabella sent me a photo. A framed diploma. She'd graduated grad school, top 10% of her class, with Kyle at her side, and me in the front row. No interruptions. No speeches. No drama. Just pride. Just love. Just peace. She posted it with the caption, not all family stays forever, but the ones who do, they're the real ones. And then, the final twist came quietly. I got a letter from Lindsay's attorney. No lawsuit, no threats. Inside, a single page will. She was leaving everything she had left, her pension, her condo, even her jewelry to Isabella. And at the bottom, handwritten, tell her I finally grew up, just too late to matter. I folded the letter, filed it away, and said nothing. Some messages don't need to be read out loud. Some damage speaks for itself. 6 months later, Isabella and Kyle got engaged. She asked if I would walk her down the aisle. Of course, I said, but only if you let me read something, like a toast. No, I smiled, like a warning. We laughed until we cried. Her wedding was small, classy, beautiful. When we danced, she leaned in close and whispered, you gave me a future when Mom tried to steal my moment. I'll never forget that. And in that second I didn't think about revenge. Or strategy. Or even justice. I just thought, this is how legacy wins. Asterisk. That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought? Or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next adventure. Asterisk.